In this life, we all tend to overload on automation. One, two, three.
Hey, what's up, everybody out there? Coming to you loud from Maui, Ed and Quinn. Oh man, what a week! Spring break. Was having fun in the sun. Actually, we did a lot of work. We did a lot of yard work and cleaning the house and pretty much spring cleaning. How many people out there, I don't want to say wasted the spring break, but in a way, you worked cleaning your house and it wasn't more like just chilling at the beach, maybe till the last day, Yeah, Quinn? But throughout the whole spring break, we basically redid our entire house.
Feels nice though.
Yeah, we gutted everything out, separated all the trash, did a couple runs to the dump. $3, man. Every time you go down. I went down there like 3 times, so that's what, almost $10, $9. But hey, you know what? It's in a, you know what I mean? It's in the dump, and I feel good. I feel relieved. It's like getting rid of the negativity, the trash, dumping the trash. Mm-hmm. Something free.
It's like
something free feeling about that.
It's a cancer,
just accumulating, right?
All over the place, little by little.
Yeah, and then you buy some new furniture and clean out all the old stuff and put the new furniture there. It looks good. Yeah. It looks good, man. Yeah, and finally on the last day though, beach bound. Go, cruise at the beach, relax. And then, how's this? You have off the whole spring break, right? Monday through Friday, last week. And then you have school yesterday. And then Tuesday, today, we're off. I don't get it. They should have just had it all the way till Monday. Why have the kids go back to school on Monday and then have them off on Tuesday just to go back to school on Wednesday? I don't know. They should have just had it just off right through, I don't know. They should extend spring break to Monday. Monday to Monday. There you go. I don't know. That makes more sense to me, right? Because then the kids got to go all back to school on Monday after the long week, spring break week. And then Tuesday they off. And then Wednesday you got to go back.
Yeah, it's off. But it would be Monday to Tuesday, right?
Monday to Tuesday, yeah. To have Monday off, the following Monday off, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that Wednesday you go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Man, I know. It's just one extra day that the DOE can claim that they were doing
at
something.
School. Yeah. True. And one less day to have to pay all the teachers and everybody to have that day off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm sure they could have rearranged something like a teachers meeting on that day or something, instead of having all the kids come back on Monday, have just a teachers meeting, where they normally would hold it on another day of the week. I don't know. There's ways around it. That's I'm just saying. Hey, everybody, sorry to be boring you with our little spring break shenanigans here, but I'm sure all of you out there was going through the similar, situation that we were. So, and now the kids are, off for today and back to school tomorrow. And I think there's like nothing from here till like summer, or like this is the long stretch, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? For all the kids to be in school and right before the summer break. And hey, spring is looking beautiful. Sun is out, right? I mean, no wind. And then at night, it's just beautiful, clear skies. You can see the stars. And I mean, you look up at the stars and you can see all the, what do you call that? The Sagittarius and Pegasus and all that.
Oh,
Orion's belt. What is it called? Constellations?
Yeah.
Constellations. There you go. It was beautiful last night.
It's been so clean. Even the water.
Yeah?
There's been a lot of fresh water coming in. The water's been cold.
Oh, cold, right?
Yeah, I'm snorkeling, jump inside. It's been super cold, but super clean because it's like cleaning itself.
That's awesome. Then if people, like how we said in our earlier podcast, if they don't use certain sunscreens, you know, with that oxycodone? What?
Oxycodone.
No, what is that called?
Yeah, stop.
Oxybenzo.
Putting all over you.
Something.
There's a bunch of stuff. It's like oxybenzone.
Oxybenzone, yeah.
Then there's like oxytocin or something. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of different things.
You know, yeah, and then that what kills our reefs, which of course affects the fish, and probably putting tumors on the turtles, because I see some turtles, man, with some big old tumors on them. You know, it's from the sewage and
all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really understand how it works, but when the reef lets out its spawnage, it floats to the top or to the surface, and then when all that sunscreen's there, it's not going through like that.
Also, the sunscreen like creates a film on the top of the ocean. Is that what you're saying? So the spawn of the coral can't break through that
doesn't
film.
Get fertilized from the sun.
Oh, it needs the sun.
Because it's supposed to get fertilized and then sink back down and then grow more.
Yeah, because I see a lot of dead coral.
So that's what happens. Is like the spawnage comes up and the sunscreen's floating on the surface too, and then they mix together and the spawnage stuff doesn't get fertilized to go back down, and then when it goes back down, it's just like blanks.
Wow. Like sterile.
Yeah.
Wow, shooting blanks. Yeah. We're aiding to killing the reefs, man. We're adding to it. Not myself personally, but you know, a lot of people who do wear sunscreen, and nothing against sunscreen. It's just the type of sunscreen you use too, right?
Like I just go for the baby ones. The baby ones are usually like
they're not as strong,
zinc based,
right? Because people gotta protect themselves from the sun, but also we gotta protect our oceans from getting.
It's just crazy too, because everybody doesn't even know that comes here. Most tourists, they don't know that.
Yeah.
That's I think the biggest problem.
That's one of the things they should be announcing on the airplane on the way over here.
For sure.
Hey, by the way, don't put on certain type of sunscreen, and
No, for real, that would be a good start.
At least try, you know.
But like I say, like, let's see how much sunscreen's got to be like $1 billion industry.
Well, hey, back to the DOE and kids staying at home while you look that up. Yeah. Parents at home, I applaud you guys, man. And as a parent myself, and Quinn also, he's a parent now, and it's hard work. It's hard work grooming your child to be a productive individual that is part of a community. It is. And I mean, it's not an easy task, but I wanted to just talk about this for a little bit. Parenting and raising your child to make right decisions, to be a good human being, and just to treat others basically the way you'd want to be treated, but better, right? Wouldn't you want to treat someone like how you'd want to be treated, but better? And I don't know, disciplining the kids to me is number one, because you got to have consequences, you know what I mean, for decisions that you make. But then again, there comes a point like of spanking or beating. There's a difference between spanking and beating. I know a lot of people don't believe in hitting your child, and it is actually not necessary. I used to spank my kids until they were about maybe about 6 years old, and it wasn't really a spanking. I'd like thwack their finger, but I'd raise my voice. That's the thing. I'm a kind of a yeller. I'd be like, "Don't touch that," and I'd like flick at their finger. I'm like a yeller. I'm more like a dog whose bark is harder than their bite. But even that probably has a psychological effect, and yelling at the kids all the time, and I told you not to do that. But when I was young, right? When I was young, I know nowadays, and it's through evolution and experience of how to raise your child, and people learn, and and parenting has become more of a social, social thing, and being educated wise, people are talking about it, and fathers are actually way more involved now, I believe. Well, a lot more now than they were back in the early 80s, 70s, and even 60s. I mean, of course, you have those scenarios where fathers would take their boys fishing, and mom would cook with the daughters in the kitchen. But nowadays, bro, you got fathers teaching their kids like me, teaching their kids jujitsu and daughters how to box meaner than any boy could. You seen those videos of the dad is over there with the daughter, and she's like, whop, pop, 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 hitting the mitts like. And I know a lot of my friends, they train in martial arts and stuff, and their kids, daughter or son, kicks butt. There's there's starting to become no segregation, in the child rearing. Boys learn how to cook just as good as the girls do, and the girls learn how to work in the yard and do jujitsu just as good as the boys, and so, we're evolving that way in parenting and stuff. But back in the days, man, freaking my dad, he would whoop our ass. I ain't gonna lie, he would whoop our ass, but we knew that was a consequence. So there's a line that we would not cross. You know what I'm saying? Of course, when you get older, you start defying it, and then you start, I'm going to go free on my own, and then arms back, chin to the sky, and you're running out into the heavens. But yeah, back in the days, man, but threats. Oh, the threats. I mean, I used to hear the threats, man. And it's like how Bill Burr on his F is for Family on Netflix, that cartoon. Oh, so true. So true. The dad's like freaking out, I think that's where I get my temper from. I think that's where I get my, it's from my dad. And it's taught through their example. So I'm not going to lie, everyone. I'm a swearer. I mean, I try not to swear as much on my podcast, but I swear my wife gets so crazy, man. She looks at me. She's like, I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap. She tells me that all the time. And it's so funny because, vulgarity and cussing, it's not cool. Like I said, you wouldn't go to, but you got to know the appropriate time, I think. So when you're watching like the fights or the game with the boys, and you're like, oh, punch his fucking face, then of course, the kid should be outside. But you wouldn't find yourself going to a school and swearing like, hey, how's that fucking guy? You wouldn't be talking like that around kids. You got to know, and that's the thing, you got to know, like as a parent, there's a lot of teachers out there that at the school, they're prim and proper. Kids, you go this way, discipline, it's through example. And then when they're at home, they're like, bust out the margarita, baby. And of course you need that, real life and through an example. And like, there's a lot of things like I shouldn't have done when I was young. And now that I'm a grandfather, I know what not to do in front of my granddaughters, which I still do sometimes like an idiot, but like swearing, when I was young, I said, I'm going to admit it. I used to play some video games. Street Fighter. I was a Street Fighter fanatic. All the boys would be over. And of course, when you lose, what do you say? You blame the game. But this fucking guy, lucky he's not real. You start talking smack. But you're saying F words. You're saying, shit, you son of a bitch, And then what? You have your kid watching you say those things on the side. And then one day you get a call from your teacher saying, your son or daughter just said, hey, shit, you son of a bitch. And it's like, oh. And, the teacher's like, hey, man, they learned it from you, bro. So there's a lot of things that I had to, so. I don't know.
It's
what I'm saying?
It's crazy how fast they pick up. They're just like a sponge.
Yes.
Like as soon as you do something that really intrigues them. Yeah. Well, they're doing it right away.
So, like, for example, and you and I, very, very guilty from doing this all the time. And you hack off the loogie, and then in the toilet or outside, you open the screen door, you go outside, and then, you spit, right? I mean, it's just a thing that us guys do, which is a nasty, disgusting habit. But we do. And then here comes your daughter, man. She comes right behind you, and she's like,
no, I know.
And it's like, all right, this girl's only 1 year old, and she already know how to hook up a loogie. That's skills.
I know she always does that. But, what is that even called?
You're hacking up a loogie. You're hacking up a loogie. Yeah.
That roll, that tongue roll.
That tongue roll.
She's always doing that after.
And she's like acting like she's spitting. Mm-hmm. I mean, nothing's coming out, but just the whole thing, right? Yeah, so swearing, your behavior, your mannerisms, your attitude. That's why your attitude, you just got to watch your attitude around the kids while you're driving, you know? And like, I remember my mom telling me this one time when I was young, and it's so true. Watch how you treat your daughters. To me, she told me this about my daughters, because I'm a roughneck, yeah? So I like to rough them up and all that, and grapple them and all that. And she's like, and then of course, when I get upset, I swear, I yell. And so she's like, you gotta watch out, man, because one day your daughters are gonna look for a man that is just like that. And that used to stick in my mind. Now, would I want a man who flips out and swears and all that with my daughter, like how I used to? Or do I want them to look for a guy who's like, hey man, it's all good. It's gravy. It's all gravy, you know? Of course I want the gravy guy. You know?
For sure.
So, but that's how and of course, sometimes you learn too late. And so the example you show your child, by the time they get older, you finally look at them and you're like, holy shit, I just raised myself, you know? And for me personally, I wasn't a true adult till I was about, I'd say, 26, right when the twins was born. So I was around 26, and to me, that's when I became an adult, because that's when I started telling myself, okay, stop drinking, stop partying, you know, guys have to stop coming over now, change my life, you know. That's when you become an adult, is when you can, and when you can supervise yourself.
Yeah. Prioritize.
Yeah, right. That's why drinking age, 21. And, you know, of course, I'm like, well, if we can go to war at 18, we could be able to drink at 18. But if you really look at it, it's saving them from being a corruptive, you know. I mean,
an alcoholic.
While
you're 19.
Right, before you're even 19.
That's
so,
true.
I mean, I do agree with that. When I was young, I'm like, 21, what the hell, 21. I can go war. But now that I'm older, you know, I realize, you know, wow.
But it is fucked up though that you can go out there and they can like pretty much just put you in like fucking boot camp and do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I tell you what you can't do now, and it's because of social media, and of course the government's getting involved as well, is discipline your child in public. When I was young, you'd see moms outside with the kid in the shopping cart, and I believe it was Andy Bumatai, man, and he had an awesome bit about how when moms used to whack their kids, they would whack them according to syllables. So the mom would be smacking the kid on the bottle. I told you not to. And he's like, and you just pray that your mom don't use long words. What you don't appreciate?
The 3 syllables.
The 3 syllable words, man. But you know what I mean? You can't, I mean, because of social media and people with phones, man, they'll film your ass and go, hey, look at this mom. And totally blow it out of proportion. You know, maybe the kid deserved it. The kid stole something. I know I got smacked in the parking lot when my mom and dad saw that I stole a bunch of stuff, candies. But, you know, hey, consequences, right?
Yeah.
Consequences.
That's a real touchy subject, you know?
It is.
Because then it's like, you don't know what is... I know, even now, like, you get these, like, these super overprotective parents on like the tour.
Okay, so that is a whole different type of abuse. If you ask me,
exactly.
That's a whole different...
Worse,
because there's no consequence for the child. The kid gets whatever they want. And then when they go into the real world, they end up getting killed. They end up getting the shit beaten out of them. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't understand the boundaries. They don't understand consequence.
Exactly. The boundaries are so... you know, protected.
Well, I had a friend, right, whose his mom and dad was so strict that they wouldn't allow him to eat McDonald's or candy. Halloween, he wasn't allowed to go out for Halloween. No candy, no nothing. The mom would bake him like a couple of cupcakes, but they weren't allowed for candy. They couldn't eat candy or McDonald's. When this boy got his license and we first went out, first place he told me, let's go, is guess where? McDonald's. He told me, bro, just take me straight to McDonald's, man. And he ordered, at the time, the big thing was McDLTs, right?
I'm just gonna fucking kick back on the passenger.
And he's, and when he freaking,
take as long as you want in that drive-thru,
like, dude, I'm going straight to McDonald's, man. He went straight to McDonald's, drive-through, we hid somewhere, and he pounded. No, he didn't even talk to me. Like, he was just breathing heavy through his nose and just pounding, bro. McDLTs. He ate like 3 of them. Because I used to order McDLTs. I used to like McDLTs.
Okay, just in his mind.
He still,
wow, for so long, bro. I just like had that plan. For
I used to always talk about
months.
McDLTs. And yeah. And he used to look at me like, yeah.
Go back and get my fucking permit for this food, Bro, it's off.
Hey, I know people, guys
Call
that
up Eddie, bro.
never drink. That was his drug, dude. It's like, he'd call me up. Oh, hey, bro. Yeah.
Park in the fucking
Watch your
jungle,
ready,
bro.
cuz. Yeah.
Bro, Kate Fields, bro.
Kate
Kate
Fields.
Fields, mom and fucking McDonald's. Oh,
shit.
That's so funny, bro.
And I knew guys that like, at my church, the mom guys, no soda. Like, you know what I mean? No soda, no soda. Bro, when we used to go out, and I used to see them on a Friday night in the town, guess what they was holding in their hand? One big gulp. You know what I mean? At the time, that was something huge. Big gulps.
Like you can't have, right?
Bro, and they're like, they'll be double fisting big gulps. I go, dude, what, you got 2 sodas? Mountain Dew and Coke, bro.
And they're just hanging outside of 7-Eleven, huh? You don't even go nowhere. You just go back inside the store.
Sorry, refill. Oh, hilarious. But parenting, you know what I mean? And they meant well. The parents meant well. It just kind of backfires on them. So, I mean, I used to, you know, honestly, I was strict with my kids until they turned about 6. Between 6 to 8. Then I started giving them some more freedom, allowing them to speak their mind, letting them develop their character. But before that, it was strictly discipline. No, you can't touch that. No, don't do that. Boom, you know, bam. And that's what I mean. I used to flick their finger. And, of course, yelling. I said, don't touch that! You know? But, yeah, that I could have exercised more control. But other than that, you know, the kids, they turned out good. And that's where it matters, is, you know. Anyway, getting too deep into this, you know, we can't avoid having that problem with kids, though, is just by having birth control. And sometimes natural birth control. You know what is natural birth control, Queen? Do you know what natural birth control is? Huh?
I can't even think of the word right now.
No, it's not condoms. It's not
Substance.
No, it's
Abstinence.
Abstinence. There you go. Abstinence. But it's like Bruce Lee, like how Bruce Lee said. And now everyone's like, where is he going with this with Bruce Lee? It's like Bruce Lee said, he practiced the art of fighting without fighting. But in order to know that art, you got to know how to fight. Huh? So where am I going with this? Practicing abstinence. You know what I mean? But you got to know how to be abstinent. Or what's the word for that? Abstain. You know how you got to know how to abstain. And sometimes, bro, masturbation. The art of masturbation. You know, give her a toy. You just go with your Vaseline or whatever you like, Quinn. Okay, whatever. You have baby oil, alloy with spit, and then just, you know, squeeze out a few, right? The art of masturbation, bro. That's you know, that's the art of no sex right there.
I thought you were going for you learn to love without loving.
Hey, it goes that way too. It goes that way too. Because you love your hand. You'll love your hand without loving it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
You still work with
what
it.
What kind
you
of
still,
movies is this coming out?
Hey, masturbation is like near beer. Okay? It looks like beer. It tastes like beer. It smells like beer. It's not beer. Remember that song, I Touch Myself? Huh? You don't remember that song? No? No?
I don't know.
Oh, shoot. Actually, you probably wouldn't even know it. That song came out when you were probably just sperm scrapping with your siblings in the sack. Who's gonna find that egg first? You know what I'm saying?
I'm imagining.
You was a wet dream at the time. I think it was in the late 80s. Yeah, when you was born?
90s.
Yep. you were scrapping it out in the sack. That egg's mine, boys, mine.
Oh man.
Yeah. But hey, having no sex when you get older, it gets easier. It does. Because you think of other things, that could happen to you after you have sex, like back pain. No back pain, no sex, no back pain. Because the next day is a killer sometimes when you got to get up and get out of bed. It's like, oh shit, too much trust. And this turbines are going down, Oh, shit.
So I stretching so important.
There's other things more important, than sex. Like food. If you got to eat a late dinner or have sex, dinner time. And then usually you say, oh, let's have sex after. Okay, after we have dinner. Okay, so you have dinner, you make a nice dinner, and you go up to have sex, and then you fall asleep. So that's what happens when you get old. Sleep becomes the climax. The climax is the sleep.
No, that is true though.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
The rest is gonna catch up to you, or the deprived. What is it? Deprivation? I don't even know how to say that. The deprived sleeping is catching up to you for sure.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of commercials and stuff that
you said,
they show them going out to a hotel, no kids, and they're like, "Oh babe, what do you want to do?" And then she looks at him, "Oh, you know what I want to do." And she goes on the bed and he goes, "Oh, I thought you'd never ask." And then you see the two of them lie down and out.
I know, I don't even mess around anymore.
Yeah.
As soon as I get a chance, I just close my eyes.
Fall asleep.
Man.
Especially when you gotta go change diaper, feed them 2 a.m. And then when they wake up.
A lot of it's my diet though. That's what I gotta change.
Right. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of the babies.
I don't know about to the extreme of no McDonald's ever, but for sure.
Well, I know I cut out all that when my kids was all born, right up to, like I said, to up there about 6. Like none of my kids ate any McDonald's until they turned about 6 years old. I mean, not that I know of. Maybe they did for my families, houses, they go out and all that without me knowing. But as far as I know, because my wife never did. And she tried to train them so that whenever they saw the McDonald's sign, she'd be like, oh, yucky Donald's, yucky. So for years, they'd be like, yucky Donald's. And then one day, they're like, Mom, I want some yucky Donald's. And then so
figure it out.
We were like, okay, at least they went up to, that so many years without it. And that's the thing. You got to try and hold out. But through example, I cannot be telling them no with the Pop-Tart and I'm pounding one Pop-Tart on the side. So I cut all that out, bro. I cut all that out until they turned about 6. And then when they got older, about 6 years old, then I started slowly buying sweet cereals, Pop-Tarts, which is not good. I should have just held out anyway, but 6 years, man. It's like being in prison for me. Sweet tooth.
I don't know, man.
Anyway, enough about this. Enough. Nah, that's enough. I gotta take a sip of this beer.
I'm drinking tea, man.
Oh, that's so good. Entertainment. Guess what, everybody? Bill and Ted. Part 3 looks like it's going to be in the works. They're going to call it Face the Music. And all I have to say about that is excellent. You ever watch Bill and Ted?
Yeah, I've seen Bill and Ted.
Oh man! And even though they're older, they got so into the characters for that trailer. Well, it wasn't even a trailer; it was just like a little infomercial that they just did to promote the Bill and Ted Part 3, and it's because the fans wanted it so bad that they're like, okay, we'll do it for you guys. So everybody out there, I don't know, I'm a Bill and Ted freaking big fan. So,
is that the same guy? Was he in Sasquatch Game too?
No, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Yes, Keanu Reeves. Chad, look at it. It's Keanu Reeves and shoot, I'm so bad. The other guy, I forget his name.
Yeah.
Something. I think it's Silva.
I used to not appreciate that kind. Like
Party
Sasquatch
time.
Gang, but then you realize like how good the actor is to act that.
Oh, Sasquatch Gang is so awesome. It's like a Napoleon Dynamite, but more,
Is it excellent or 3?
Bill and Ted's.
Is it 3?
Yeah, just look up Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves, right? It's gonna be a good one. And another one that's coming out that is reliving the 1980s hit movie Karate Kid, Cobra Kai Season 2. They're already coming out with the teaser, and it looks really good. And you know what? At the end of Season 1, spoiler alert, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. The Master comes back. And I'm not talking about Mr. Miyagi. I'm talking about Johnny's Master. And he comes in smoking a cigar at the end of Season 1. And and then Johnny looks up like, oh, and he's wearing a trench coat. And he looks all freaking gangster. Oh, shit, man. It's going to be a good one. So, but what I think it is going to be is, because if anyone's familiar with Karate Kid Part 2 is when Mr. Miyagi and Daniel go to Okinawa. But before they go to Okinawa, it continues from Part 1. After the tournament, they go outside, and this sensei tries to fight Mr. Miyagi because he puts Johnny in a chokehold because Johnny came in second place. He lost to Daniel, right? So he tries to attack Mr. Miyagi. He ends up busting himself up, right? So on Karate Kid Part 2, they left off with him and Johnny on bad terms. He actually kicked Johnny out. He called him, Johnny called him a loser. Like, they got into a little scrap. So for him to come back in, you know what I'm saying? In this, I think this is my take on it, and we'll see, right? We'll see. Season 2 is going to be all about Johnny and Daniel joining forces to take on that guy and his new karate club. What do you think?
It's too cliche.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, I don't know, dude.
Okay, we'll see. I'm getting too much into this. Okay. And a new movie coming out, action movie, Triple Threat, starring Michael Jai White, Tony Jaa, and Michael Bisping. And actually, they have way more action heroes in this one, but it's majority Asians. It's like an Asian Expendables, and it looks awesome. Check it out, everybody. It's on Facebook. It's called Triple Threat, and I like the way they made the Triple Threat title because it looks like the cover for Thrasher magazine. You know what I mean?
On flames.
Yeah. But hey, MMA fighters are making it big. Look at GSP did a good job, and I think it was Captain America, the Winter Soldier. In the beginning, he was fighting with him, and he did a good job. And I think Michael Bisping is going to do good in this movie. Randy Couture was in the Expendables. So right on. Good job, guys. And speaking of MMA fighters, here we go with the fights. This is an old one. Masvidal defeats Darren Till. He knocks him out. And in the first round, he got knocked down hard, but he recovered, came back, and knocked out Darren Till with a nice looping left hand in the second round. But the real action happened after, when he was getting interviewed in the back, and Leon Edwards came in the back and was talking smack to Masvidal, and Masvidal went up to him like, well, you got something to say? Say it to my face. And Leon Edwards approached him and went to talk to him in his face, and Masvidal just let off a 1, 2, 3, and pop, 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 and cut Leon Edwards' eye, and I mean, some action in the back. So Masvidal back in action, already causing some heat. Hey, Pettis beat Thompson. First round KO. Or second round. I think it's second round. All I know is that he beat him 5 seconds before the end of the round. He was getting whooped. His head was bleeding. He was getting backed up into the cage. And it looked like Thompson went for like a side kick to the ribs. And Pettis just did a Superman punch and caught him with it looked like a right hand and knocked him out. Like 4 minutes and 55 seconds. And I think it was the, second round? I forget.
Oh, sorry, what? I was looking at Masvidal.
Pettis beats Thompson. But anyway, what round? I forget. But I know it was like 4 minutes, 55 seconds, brah. Like 5 seconds left in the round. Dillashaw busted by USADA for having steroids in his system. I think this is before pre-January 19th for the fight with Henry Cejudo. So they're saying that he was tainted. I don't know, man. Come on, the rules are clear. No steroids at all, period. And, you know, John Jones, he's getting off with these pictograms or whatever they want to call it. The point is he got busted and just face the music. They freaking banned Nick Diaz for almost 5 years for pot. You know what I'm saying? And these guys are using a drug that is on paper illegal in the UFC and steroids, and they're getting popped for it. So TJ Dillashaw is getting stripped of his belt, and I think he's suspended for a year or maybe longer. So there you go. But you know what? Let's bring it on home. Let's bring us all on home. And from Maui, Zach Zane, X1, 170-pound champion. He went to Oahu. I think it was at the Blaisdell, and he won. You know, he only had 4 days' notice. He said, "Hey, I'll jump in." Jace Bokshot. He was supposed to fight. That's the one that fought Honolulu for the 155-pound title, but Jace had to pull out. Bokshot had to pull out. So Zach Zane jumped in on 4 days' notice and beat the guy. So congratulations, Zach, from Maui. Good job. And also announcing Lola Hea. He's going for a title. The super heavy X1 super heavyweight title coming out April 27. And if you guys all know him, he has action. He's going to put on some, you know what I mean? Some action. So good fights coming up. Maui boys doing good. Right on, boys. Keep rock and rolling. And we're coming up almost on 40 minutes, bro. So I got to end this. Hey, everybody, check us out. YouTube, Twitter. Twitter? No Twitter?
Yeah, not yet.
Never mind. Instagram, Facebook. But YouTube, guys, YouTube, check us out.
YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
We're on
like
Stitcher,
and subscribe.
we're on iTunes.
Okay, we're all on all of that. Quinn is getting it down. I promote us on Facebook.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Just
but,
subscribe.
Hey, you know, speaking of baby steps, if you're your parent, watch your baby do his first steps or her first steps, and then next thing you know, they're gonna be asking you for the car keys, and then they're gonna be driving and going to college, and life is good, life is fast. Until next time, guys. Shoots, la dat.